Hey folks, welcome back to the Cotswold Collectibles YouTube channel. I'm Greg Brown, owner of Cotswold Collectibles. We are back with doing our video series on MNC Toy Center, World Peacekeepers / Power Team / Power Team Elite. I'm here with our special guest, Chuck Chiriaco. Chuck is a diehard collector. He has showed me a lot of information about this. This started out as a 3-part series. I think we're on part 5 now.
It's part 5.
Part 5. It just keeps growing, and we're not done yet. But this week, what we're going to be talking about is we're kind of getting into the miscellaneous stuff. We talked previously about police, SWAT, stuff like that, and then we talked about military and that sort, and then we talked about females, and then we talked about males. But this week we're going to be talking a little bit miscellaneous. We're talking about astronauts, firemen, a little bit of figures that were made overseas, especially in Spain. But I'll let Chuck take it from here.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on the show, Greg.
Thanks.
So the early 90s, and you can elaborate more on this about Jungle Man. So tell us about Jungle Man, Greg.
Okay.
Or Safari Man, whatever they call him.
I think he was called Hunter Man.
Hunter Man.
He was called Hunter Man. Back in the 90s, in the mid to late 90s, in boards, there were 2 major boards of discussion boards. There were the trenches, which were the AOL G.I. Joe collectors, and then there was the Sandbox, who I was a member of. And there started this chatter about that there was a knockoff G.I. Joe figure that was popping up. There was Hunter Man, there was Astronaut Man, and I forgot who the other guy was. I can't remember.
Power Man.
Maybe Power. I don't know. They were underneath the Power Team brand. The head sculpt had a very striking similarity to the painted head G.I. Joe.
You take his head off, right?
Yeah, you can see from this guy right here. He looks like a little bit bulked up. The outfits were made out of twill, especially on the Hunter Man. This one in particular, I think, came with like an eagle or such, and had like a scoped rifle and a few other things. And people were just going gaga. I'm still friends to this day with Rudy Panucci. He is another G.I. Joe collector, but he's a journalist too. And so he actually did some digging and found a company that was selling these in Texas, and they were basically rack jobbers for gas stations. So when you see rack jobbers for, potato chips and stuff like that, these were the guys that were putting the little toys in there. And I coordinated, some people remember when I was doing Cotswold Collectibles mass purchases, I did one for these guys, and people just went bananas. And when I contacted the guy to buy it, I was like, I need to order, 50 of this stuff. And he was like, what? He was like, where's your business at? I'm like,
cheesy figure. Who wants this?
Yeah. He was like, where's your business at? I'm like, I'm living Grand Prairie. I'm ordering this out of my garage, And he was like, okay, man, whatever. So we did it, and little did I know that, it's 2024. And they started out real simplistic like this, and they just started evolving into this. I mean, God, we're on video 5. Talking about it. But if you look for these guys, they're a little bit harder to find because they were the first ones, and they were really well made. I mean, he has a very Jungle Fighter vibe to him. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, this one's kind of near and dear to my heart. I wish I still had mine. Yeah. He came in green and he came in tan, which was kind of neat.
And I got mine loose, and he came with like the bush hat and the shirt and pants. But Greg showed me pictures, and apparently he had shorter boots and socks too.
Yes, he did.
So I just put some older Power Team boots on mine. And I imagine at the time he probably didn't come with a very sophisticated weapon either.
The rifle was, I want to say it was a one color, I think it was either brown or black, scoped rifle, very, very generic. Yeah. So like I said, we've talked about this before, the earlier iterations were very simplistic. The weapons and such like that were mostly very similar to Hall of Fame, stuff like that. I can't remember if he came with the belt and holster and stuff like that. He might have, but if we find a picture, we'll post it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one's This is the one to me that started it all.
I would love if they remade that figure.
It would, that's kind of what I would like to talk to them about is, hey, would you do a commemorative figure?
Yeah, he's really cool.
Yeah, I think a commemorative figure of this would be cool. I don't know if they could get away with the head anymore now that but it was, back in the 90s, man, what were we dealing with? The 21st Century Toys was just on the cusp of kind of doing some stuff. Hasbro, you could go to Target and get some of those Hall of Fame guys. So when this came out, man, everybody was like,
and
feed me.
They probably still have the tooling for that hat too.
I wouldn't be surprised if So yeah, I might have to reach out to them. So.
Yeah, it's a cool figure.
Please don't start emailing me.
After that, you got the so Power Team would take on contracts and licenses from other people, and those were actually spacemen that they were under this Space Voyagers.
Oh wow!
Yeah, Space Voyagers brand. Action Products. There's nothing on here that says anything about Power Team, but they are Power Team figures. Mm-hmm. I think you could buy these at if you go to the Kennedy Space Center or the Marshall Space Center in Huntsville.
Yeah, over in Alabama, or go to the one down in Houston.
This is the kind of stuff you could buy.
Yeah, at the gift shops.
But they're cool. I like those a lot. They're really simple. They didn't come with any accessories. They remind me of astronauts from Planet of the Apes.
Yeah. Except it doesn't say ANSA.
Yeah, ANSA. It does have a NASA.
It does say NASA. So it's officially,
It's got the cookie symbol.
Looks like it's officially licensed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But those are pretty cool.
Those are neat.
Yeah. And then coming up next here, this is actually has parts and is very similar to the first Power Team figure I ever bought at Food Lion. It was Spaceman, Astronaut Man, whatever.
Astronaut Man.
But this is the brown-haired version of the G.I. Joe head. Mm-hmm. I imagine somewhere there's probably a red-haired version and a blonde-haired version of it too. I don't know where.
I can't remember. Like I said, when we got these and these came out, these were the second figure. They had the metallic outfit and they had some different accessories. I can't remember if it was that, but people were going gaga over this because it had that Lost in Space Robinson family.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
And those spacesuits are hard to come by now because most of them are worn out and lost their sheen. Mm-hmm. If you press this button right here, his gun actually lights up. It's pretty neat because they put all the mechanisms in there in the pack there, and they didn't even really advertise it. It's just kind of like, here's a gun. If you just had the sense to put batteries in the pack, it works.
Yeah, and it fits on his leg of all things. Poor bastard.
I'll
catch up with you.
What is it? Thighs of steel.
Something, man. He's walking in circles like Atomic Man.
Yeah. And these two here, these are pretty common Power Team space figures. They were sold many different ways. I've seen them in blister cards. I've seen them in single packaging. I've seen them in a 2-pack sold by Walmart called Kick Connection.
Right.
Now these I modified a little bit. They used to have the muscle bodies. I actually gave them the superposable bodies, and they're actually wearing. And this one, Sean Connery had here. Mm-hmm. He's actually has the longer gloves that most of the time you can only find on firefighter figures.
Yeah.
I think I actually took off the longer gloves on my firefighter figures and gave them to my spaceman.
Gave them to that one
because I just wanted my spacemen to look more spacey. But the space boots came in various flavors. They had silver. They had black. They've had. I think I've seen silver belts. I've seen white belts. I don't have any of the accessories for them because I found these loose. A lot of times they would just give them silver colored weapons from other countries and stuff.
The thing that cracks me up is on the latest iteration, which is the orange one. He has the chainsaw and then he has the drill and stuff like that. And they were like, "What do you need a chainsaw in space?" And people always give me a hard time about that. I'm like, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
you need a chainsaw in space. Aliens coming after you.
Yeah. It'd be a good movie scene.
Yeah, these are cool because they had that 1950s feel. I remember when these came out. The latest iteration, like we said, is like the orange one. We never can keep it in stock. So.
Yeah.
But it's very popular. It has that real 1950s kind of kitschy.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, just it really catches your eye. And generally, these are the three heads I see associated with these costumes. This was actually I broke the body years ago, but unfortunately I kept it. That's actually the head of the first Power Team figure I got.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. And he came in this suit, but it was a version of this suit that didn't have any pockets in the front. So there's variants of that.
Okay.
He doesn't have a Power Team logo on his shoulder, but he does.
He does. Okay.
And there's just whatever I think M&C Toys felt like doing at the time.
Yeah, just kind of tweaking it up a little bit and all that jazz.
Just whatever they felt like.
I wonder if can you fit the chainsaw in there?
He might be able to.
I wouldn't want to.
So,
but,
yeah.
Oh, well.
Oh, and another cool thing is I saw, I just kind of sometimes Google search Power Team stuff. I saw there was like a French equivalent of eBay, and they had a Space Rover. They had a Space Rover set where you could put the guy on it and he could drive it.
Really?
Yeah.
In 1/6 scale?
1/6 scale, yeah.
Wow. Well, if anybody has pictures of that, man, please share it with us.
I have pictures of it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Let's scratch that.
It's on my computer, but I mean, I'd love to know.
I've never seen that because we've talked previously about the different vehicles and stuff. I've never seen that one before.
I saw it like maybe within the last month. It's super, super rare.
Oh.
So
well, send those to me. We'll post it on our Facebook page.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Make sure you tell them it's not for sale because you don't have any in stock.
It's not. It's not for sale.
And then here's the they've been making the firemen forever. When they made Jungle Man, they probably made Fireman and Soldier Man and Astronaut Man. But they made a lot of different flavors of this. Here's just a couple of them. You've got your black here. He's got the kit, and I did manage to put fire boots on all 4 of these here.
Gotcha.
Here's the yellow flavor. They came with a lot of these tools to kind of break down stuff. Mm-hmm. Interestingly, a lot of the SWAT figures came with
the same stuff.
Exact same stuff.
They're probably the breacher one.
Yeah, and then here's the gray one. And then, of course, in the last video, we talked about there was female counterparts to these. Here's a talking firefighter. He does not work. I put new batteries on him. He unfortunately does not work, but I just wanted to show this off just so that there's proof that he does actually exist. So we're going to set back fires. Just cheesy things that people in Hong Kong think firemen in America would say.
So these guys, because that's what's really interesting is the fire hydrant that is not an American fire hydrant.
Absolutely,
probably like a Hong Kong Chinese. Yeah. So each of these guys also came with the typical fire helmet and stuff like that. Or
depends. So sometimes they would come with a fireman kit.
Right.
Sometimes they would come with a helmet. It just depends. So like this one didn't come with a cover for the oxygen tank, but if you look down there, you will see there's a cover for an oxygen tank.
Yeah, I saw that. That is interesting.
So like, I don't know if it was price point or somebody at the factory felt like putting a little more effort into the figure.
Yeah, we've seen as years progress, they kind of tweak things.
Yeah. I know they have improved their gas mask a lot. This is like the oldest, like 20-year one. If you go on their website now and look at what they have, it's a lot more sophisticated looking and probably secures their face a lot better.
Right. Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. And they made all kinds of goofy like there's like a fireman van, a fireman helicopter, a fireman motorcycle.
We saw the motorcycle has the hose in the back and with the water supply, and it's pretty interesting. Did they ever do a fire truck at all?
Probably.
It's been a while since I looked at the fire guys. I always looked at the SWAT guys and stuff like that, but I never.
It wouldn't surprise me if, like, I don't know, Australia got the fire truck.
Australia gets all the cool stuff.
So
Australia.
That's the firemen, and then moving on to some of the interesting stuff. So within the last 5 years, M&C Toys decided they wanted to make some World War II figures.
Right.
And then Greg graciously carried not only the American but also the
German and the British guy.
The German and the British guy, which I really wanted, and you really can't find those anywhere on the internet right now. So
yeah, we're thinking about bringing them back. Okay.
Tell the story about how a lot of people made fun of the German stormtrooper.
There were people, because we brought it in. Chuck was a heavy proponent of me bringing those in, and we brought them in, and we had some people that were like, gosh, this doesn't look anything. He's got a Mitch helmet on. He doesn't have a Fritz helmet or anything like that. And they're like, what are you doing this? We sold out. That thing sold out the fastest.
Yeah.
That sold out. The British guy sold out, and then the American guy sold out. So it was like, kitschy or not, it's there.
It's $22.
It's $22.
German stormtrooper.
Yeah, it's $22 for a toy for you to play with or whatever. I mean, if you want something better, go get a dragon or try to find a dragon.
Yeah.
Or wait for DID and pay $175 for it.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, not everything's not made for everybody. So.
Yeah, but it sold out.
It was the first one that sold out. So. We used to jokingly say, hey, sir, can you please step aside? We have people that want to buy this.
But this is kind of, so they made like a blonde guy on a motorcycle. I don't think he had the captain symbol on his helmet. Like,
I don't know. You're talking about the American one?
The American one.
Yeah. He was. I don't know what he had on this, but he had a M1, steel pie, and real basic leggings and stuff like that, and a Thompson that I think was a little bit overscaled.
Probably.
And the motorcycle's cool. We sell the motor. What's really neat about the motorcycle is the motorcycle has a very Action Man, Geiger Man vibe to it, based upon the ones that came out from them, especially the ones that Hobby Crash were selling recently. Yeah. They didn't do the military ones; they did the commercial riders, in different colors. But yeah, if you take a look at that piece, I have an Action Man on one of mine in my house. So it's
how much is it?
How much did I pay for that motorcycle?
Yeah.
I think we sell them for $15,
$15.
Yeah,
I mean, like you can't.
Yeah, they're cheap.
You can't beat that.
The vehicles they're just. Yeah, I mean, are they as accurate as other stuff? No, but you're not paying an arm and a leg.
No, you're not.
You're not paying an arm and a leg for it.
You pay more for a 6-inch figure at Walmart than you would for this 12-inch motorcycle.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's
go figure.
It's fun, but this is like the 5th figure in the World War II series that they've made. He's like a British guy who came with a tan gun, and you used to be able to get him within the last 5 years on Amazon on Click and Play.
Click and Play. Yeah, that one we actually looked into that one. Because we have the howitzer.
Yeah.
And this one was more like a field gun or maybe an anti-aircraft gun. I can't tell, but it had like a blast shield.
Like a shield,
the shield on it and stuff like that. And so, yeah, that one was the British Desert Rat or whatever you want to call it. We keep trying to see if we can ever get some of those because originally they offered those in like a camouflage green.
Yeah.
And then they're doing that with Click and Play. So, but are they online or are they sold out?
I imagine if you go on Click and Play 12-inch figures, you probably find it. Yeah, you'll find it. I can't imagine a lot of people just beating down the door.
That's the only place I've seen that you can get it. We've tried to get it, but we just can't.
But you think about it like, oh yeah, I don't need that, and then like 12 years later, you're like, man, I should have gotten that, and you'll never find it again. You'll never find it.
The thing that I've learned with M&C Toy Center is they will have stuff out and then they'll retire stuff.
Yeah.
And so especially within the past 4 years, they had a bigger selection of product on their site. And then they scaled back. Yeah, they scaled back dramatically. So it's like, if you're thinking about getting a certain piece, I wouldn't delay on getting it.
Just get it because, it's not like something, you can type in 1966 G.I. Joe, Marine. You can't just eBay this stuff because people don't care enough to list it or remember it. Like,
yeah. It kind of gets a bad rap, but I'm blown away at this collection.
This is the Action Man that they made a few years ago. Tell us more about that, Greg.
Okay, so I'm going to butcher this, and I should have remembered the name. Art Plus Science got the license to do Action Man back in 2016. A lot of people remember the ones that they did for the 50th anniversary. They were very, very, very similar to the originals. They had a British guy, they had a scuba guy, and all like that.
They're nice figures.
Very nice figures. More expensive and such like that. And then around 2021, they reached an agreement with M&C Toy Center and through this other company, and I can't remember the name of that company. It's another British company, and so they decided, hey, we're going to manufacture these figures. Yeah. But what happened was, it was this figure. It was Ken.
It was this body.
It was this guy here, and he had. We saw him. We saw that the hands were like what, and so we just made a pass. We did a hard pass on it. So the very next year,
but for that first release, they did make cool uniforms.
The outfits were great. Yeah. The head sculpts were great.
Yeah,
but it was just like, stop or I will.
He couldn't even hold his gun.
Yeah, or I'll wave. Yeah, he really
couldn't even hold his gun.
I will wave at you. Oi, So we waited, and so then we actually got in contact with the company that was bringing them in. We're selling them in the UK. And so we brought them in, and so they had some basic versions, kind of like how MC Toy Center does stuff, and then they had the more deluxe versions that had more stuff. And people were kind of connecting the dots, and we were just said, hey, no, they've got the contract with MC Toy Center, but it is officially licensed Action Man product.
Yeah, he's got the scar and everything.
Got the scar and everything. Really cool sets, really cool uniforms with them. I do think the uniforms though use Velcro. But still, they were using the British version of the UCP camouflage pattern. They were using that bluish snow camo pattern.
Yeah. My favorite one's the blue marine.
Yeah,
that one's my favorite one.
Yeah.
And
you get one of them that has the regular beret, and the other one has the flocked beret.
Yeah.
And they fit on there. I'll tell you one thing, do not flock these heads and try to put that beret on there. Those berets are made for the
Power Team heads.
Power Team heads and painted heads and such like that.
Yeah. This was actually the one of the uniforms that came on when they had these terrible bodies.
Yeah, I don't remember that in the second wave.
They didn't re-release this one. I just found a loose costume and bought one of your loose Action Men and put it on.
Put it on there, right?
Royal Sailor is what it is. But I thought it was cool.
It's a neat piece.
This dark blue beret is something they've never made with any other set.
I haven't seen that. Yeah, we have the black beret, the green beret, and then now the red beret.
Yeah. So, and then moving on to this special guy. So this is a Guyper Man, and he has a scar, and he actually has a flocked head. He has a flocked head. And Greg, tell us about how at one time Cotswold potentially could have carried these close to 20 years ago.
Yeah, these came out, it was a little bit shorter than that. And we knew about them. We didn't know that they were affiliated with MNC Toy Center at that point, because we really did have a relationship with them with MNC back then. But we saw that they came out there. We saw them popping up overseas. We're an international company. We're on the internet. We were looking at this stuff, and we saw those. And we really wanted to bring them in, but the problem was, and this is dealing with licensing, is some things are licensed in countries, and they can only be sold in those countries. And if I remember correctly, that was the case with this re-release of Guyper Man. Because he had the scar and everything else like that, they didn't want to dilute, the licensing of G.I. Joe in the U.S. with this. And so basically we could not import these at all. And it's just kind of weird. One of the things a lot of people don't realize, and I get off track just for a little bit here, is like you can have, so like going back to G.I. Joe, there is a license for 1/18 scale figures. And generally for right now, I forget the name of that company that does it, 7 something or another. They have the license for 1/18 scale figures, okay? But then there's another company called Hiya Toys out of China, okay? At one point, we could bring in product from Hiya Toys for those G.I. Joe figures. But then after a certain point, they kind of got can't do that because that is only licensed for the Chinese or the Asian market. And so that's what the case was with this, is this figure was made for the Spanish market only, or possibly the European market. Yeah. But they could not be imported into the United States.
That's sad.
Yeah. So it was a neat series. Yeah. I went to go visit Wanma over at Hobby Crash, who does all of the Guyper stuff.
Did he have a lot of these?
He had, I think, every single one of them. In fact, there's one that's really cool that is like, it's not the French Foreign Legion. I swear to God, it's the Spanish Legion. Spanish Legion. Yeah. And their mascot is a goat.
Yeah, came with a goat.
And they had the goat that came with it. So he had the entire collection, which was really neat.
So I this is the only one I have, because if you go on eBay or eBay Spain or eBay Portugal, they cost an arm and a leg.
Yes.
I saw a guy on eBay Portugal selling a lot of figures, and he had one of these guys loose, and I said, would you like take $30 shipped. And he was like, yeah, sure, whatever. But this is kind of like their basic figure. They had this is probably like their equivalent to like a $10 or $15 figure. And they had different hair colors. They had ones without beards. They had, so they had two lines. So Bizak, I think Bizak owns the head. Bizak did like their own line of Guyper Man, which involved a lot more extreme sports and more Spanish themed stuff, like the Legion guy. I think they made a Spanish policeman. They made a Mountie. Their bodies were not like Power Team though. I think they were like almost kind of like Gorilla Arms. They weren't, and they made a lot of athlete themed stuff. But they had the flocked heads. They look cool. If I found them for cheap, of course, I'd buy them. But then there was also this line, which was more M&C themed, which was basically all the stuff that you saw in the military video that we made. It was just full sets with these cool Guyper Man heads.
Right.
So
yeah, that's the kind of interesting thing that we've learned being in the business, or I've learned being in the business, is a lot of these companies, what they'll do is they're like, hey, we want to produce this, but we want to go with an existing company that has existing tooling. So it's a lot cheaper to do. Yeah. Some people get a little upset some people got upset with the Action Man stuff, saying, well, that's not really the Action Man stuff. Well, okay, so it is and it isn't, but it's also the price point is considerably cheaper. So you have to think of the target audience. They're probably trying to appeal those for kids. Yeah. When they did the 50th anniversary ones, those were more expensive and they were geared towards adults. Yeah. And so, but I've seen, and I'm just throwing out names here, M&C Toy Center does a lot of private label manufacturing that we've seen.
They do.
We talked about Walmart.
We'll talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about Walmart like that. Chatmay is another company that does that.
I would love to see some research on Chatmay.
Yeah, Chatmay is another one. And then Lennard, which is a U.S. based.
Lennard's got a lot of goofy stuff overseas too.
They've got a lot of different stuff that you won't see in Australia.
Yeah, I think they have. There was like Kmart Australia was carrying new Lennard stuff. I saw an ad or something. It was like, what? They still have Kmart down there?
Yeah, I mean, they still have Toys R Us in Canada. Which blows me away. So, but yeah, that's kind of how that happened with that and with the Action Man. I wish I could have gotten those because, I mean, dude, he's got the floss head and he's got the scar.
He's really cool. I mean, even just this figure by himself, Land Adventurer, tiger stripe pants, he's got this nice cloth sheath that I haven't seen on any other figure. I mean, just a figure like that for $25, I'd buy.
Well, the dude's built like a Mack truck.
Oh, and actually, he's got he actually has like an Action Man tattoo too.
Does he?
Yeah, there it is. Let's see if we can see that. There it is, right there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's on like every Guyper Man figure that they made. I think the Bizak ones, the strictly Bizak ones, might have been on his chest, but the Power Team ones are on his shoulder.
And see, what's really interesting about that, because of the history of Guyper Man, is the Guyper Man heads they were using. They had, I forget the generations of like that. I should probably get Ace to do a thing on Guyper Man. But one of the head sculpts that they used was basically an eagle eye head, but it did not have functioning eagle eyes.
It was just like painted.
It was static.
It's static, yeah.
And that head has that vibe to it. If you look at it, he kind of has those eagle eyes that are in a static position.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's a really neat piece.
But like I can't find those on eBay for less than like $150.
Yeah,
they're really pricey.
It's one of those ones that kind of slipped underneath the radar. I mean, the Action Man's been kind of popping up. We had the 40th and we had the 50th, and then we had the 2021 22s. And then obviously, I mean, everybody's really familiar with Falcone, with what they've been doing, and that's hard to get those things in too. Yeah. But this one was kind of like that. It was out there. It did really good in Spain, but a lot of American collectors didn't know about them.
Yeah, they're really cool. I remember seeing they had like a website on for them in the mid 2000s.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they had a website for them. But some of the other interesting lines that I didn't bring or I don't have for a Power Team that I know exists is the Bill. That's like the British police show over there. They made some British constables. I don't have any of those figures, but the Power Team made a Bobby, and
I really like the Bobby helmet and everything. That's cool.
Yeah, I don't have any of those. Very hard to get. They made a female for that series too. Star Runner. I think it's a Hong Kong like kickboxing movie. They made
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, had a license
They
for
made
it.
like some kung fu figures for that, which was cool. Greg carries the ninjas. I don't know if the ninjas was just something they made new or if it's something they made previously in Asian countries that we've never seen.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. The Secret Agent line.
Those were neat.
So Greg carried the Secret Agent line, but I found pictures of an older Secret Agent line where it's similar, but they're still wearing suits, and they actually made a 1/6 scale black sports car for that series too.
Really?
I've only seen it in pictures. Who knows what country it was available in, but it was pretty sharp.
Yeah, those are two really neat sets, and they come with at least with the iteration. I don't know about the previous one, but some of the accessories were pretty unique. So
the Golden Revolver.
Golden Revolver is one of them, and then there was one. I think it was it the camera with the sound equipment? Was that?
Yeah.
It's like holy moly.
Really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Felipe in Brazil sent me pictures of a Power Team Zorro they made.
You were telling me about that.
Yeah, he had like a mask, he had a black horse, and it wasn't anything spectacular, but it would have been really cool to see.
It's Zorro.
It's Zorro, yeah. I don't know if it was licensed or not. It might have just been masked power guy.
LZ.
Yeah, LZ. So on MSC Toys, their website, you used to be able to find they made a doll line, a princess line, and some of those, I think they had like horse chariots and stuff. Some of those come with like a male prince doll or a male doll action figure. I don't know what it did was they have like the muscle bodies modeled in like Prince Charming outfits.
Right.
I don't know what you really got in the mail if you ordered those. But I just wanted to mention those.
But those were geared more towards the girls that were collecting dolls for they're just using the bodies.
Yep. The Roman soldier. They made a Roman soldier with armor. Yes. Yeah, I've only seen it on eBay once, and like a fool, I was like, $50, that's too much. I'm not going to buy that. And now I'm like, I'd pay
I would have killed for 50.
Yeah. But he was in box too.
Oh my goodness.
They made a Roman soldier with like a shield and the armor and everything.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. Maybe he was only available in Italy at like museums.
Maybe.
Yeah, M&C Toys, their Facebook page will occasionally like show up like really rare figure. Remember this? And I'm like, can you remake it? But they made a Roman soldier, and I never saw anything else that accommodated that. They made a civilian doctor. I don't know what kind of packaging he was in. I've only seen him loose. He was like wearing like gray scrubs, and he had like a lab coat and like the medic equipment that we saw.
I'm wondering if some of those were commissioned by different companies. We've talked about like how Chicago commissioned them to do that particular Chicago police. I wonder if some of those were commissioned.
Be the Association for Medical
something. Yeah, it was some type of hospital or something like that commissioned them.
They made a civilian repairman. He's wearing like overalls.
Really?
Yeah, he's wearing overalls, and he comes with a lot of these.
Yeah, he comes probably with the little toolbox.
Only seen that in pictures. I've never seen that in box, but it's definitely Power Team. And the last one, which was a old product that Cotswold actually did carry, was the Unknown Soldier. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
That was a Power Team figure, and I think it didn't sell well. I think the reason it didn't sell well was because it was a Power Team figure, and it was like $50. And at the time, people were like, I'm not going to pay $50 for a figure I can get for $8 at Big Lots. Right.
The perceived value on it.
Yeah. But they made the Unknown Soldier, and I don't think it sold well. A lot of the surplus stock ended up at Big Lots for like, you can get them for like $20. And they had a picture of like a German officer disguise he was going to wear, but I don't think that ever got made.
Huh.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. I do remember that though.
Yeah. So that was the miscellaneous lines of Power Team. And then we'll talk about the Sportsman, which was a very extensive line.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about some of their mounts, like their horses.
And will we be talking about the donkeys?
We'll
Donkey.
We'll bring the donkey.
Donkey.
The donkey's a pretty sought after piece.
The donkey is man. I've been doing when I do shows, I'll have somebody come out. Are you going to get the donkey? I'm like, I don't know. They don't.
Yeah.
I knew there was one.
Yeah.
You know, because I knew that was the one crazy thing that I always really enjoyed about their stuff was like back when we could get a Sears Wish book or whatever, or if you went on line, they would come out and I know we'll talk about it because I can see it over here.
Yeah.
They came out with these really cool accessories.
They did. They like houses and vehicles and horses
and
donkeys and get the special snowmobile set and get the husky dog. It's just crazy stuff that nobody documented. I don't think they just like, this is going to sell this Christmas. Let's just put this in a set and see what happens.
Well, I mean, but what's really interesting is if you look at it, that concept is a concept that Hasbro did back.
That's kind of what also makes it charming. There's a charm to it.
Yeah, because Hasbro, they did the one Jeep set and that went to JCPenney, and they did the other Jeep set and that went to Sears, and so that's what was always really cool to come across those ones that they just kind of, again, they did it for a specific company for a specific time. And if you got it, great. If you didn't, man, you missed out on something.
You missed out. So now I'm just trying to slowly collect all the pieces back.
Piecemeal it. Oh my goodness gracious.
So under a budget.
Yeah, I mean, that's the great thing about this is, I mean, this stuff has been around for about 20 years. There's a wide variety. I'm very tempted to start collecting it, but God, I'm going to have to.
It's a rabbit hole.
Well, man, I'm just going to have to live vicariously through you, Chuck, on this one. Just send me pictures and I'll go, I'm going to find this guy. I'm going to have to find this guy. I'm so mad. I'm going to have to get the tan one and the green one because that's the sentimental thing for me because that's early on and like that. But anyway, I digress. Well, that wraps up this episode number 5. Are we at 5 now? 5. Oh my God. We're not done. So tune in next week for the ever-continuing adventures of Power Team Elite. I'll be here, Chuck will be here, and we will be talking about the Sportsman line and horses and donkeys. So tune back then. Thanks, guys.